what a night for those Georgia Bulldogs. Dane Young with me. I'm Paul Meharry. This is the UGAsports.com Postgame Overreaction show presented by Benton & Benton Attorneys at Law. We'll touch on them a little bit later. The Dogs win 22-19 in an overtime thriller, much like last week. They do it with a backup quarterback, a banged-up running back, put up less than 300 yards, and somehow leave out of Atlanta with a bye, probably more than likely the number 2 seed in the college football playoffs. And there's so much to break down in this game. First off, while we get going, if you're here with us, let us know you're watching in the chat. We already have a $5 donation from Captain Guy Bob. He says, thanks for taking care of us tonight, Dane. He didn't even know you were going to be on the show.
Man, Captain Guy Bob is one of the most loyal supporters of the Watch Along show. So I'm assuming that's of hey, thanks for coming on at halftime, because we didn't do a Watch Along show today. But shout out, man. Even DM me is are we having a watch along? And be like, no, I'm sorry to break your heart, but I appreciate you anyway.
We've got the doctor in here. Greg Silly said Paul finally did something good. All right, Greg. Good to see you too, brother. As always, though, it is great to see everybody here. The Dogs are SEC champions. Just a crazy finish to an absolute crazy game. We've got Willie in here. We've got Luke Barton. We got Michael. We got Greg Watson here. Lamb Chops listening to his daughter's recital. We got Greg Watts again. KC's, of course, he's in here with us. Cole's in here. Indie Clip. Can't go a show without the Indie Clip, man. They're all in here, guys. Everybody's here. Dane, before we start taking these calls, and just so you know, the link is in the YouTube description if you want to join the show. I see some people already waiting backstage. We got Andy Stowe. We got Spano in the building. Oh, you just left. All right. We'll come back maybe one time later. Dane, before we get going, your instant analysis of this game.
The takes were flying at halftime, and everything that we thought about Georgia changed pretty much right then. It was an interesting experience doing the little halftime show I did on here, Paul, because I was saying that Texas had so many yards, but so few points. And that was about the only positive that Georgia had in the first half. You didn't feel good about what Georgia was doing offensively. You knew Etienne was playing hurt. And then that final play where they're just trying something, potentially, that may end Carson Beck's career at Georgia. We have no idea. It's way too early to know that. But he couldn't play the rest of the game other than come in and hand the ball off. And when he came in at the end on that last play, I was mortified.
Dude,
I was stunned.
His arm was dangling. It was what is, what they're about to do here too. They had, through all the chaos of that last play, they had Chambliss in there again as the lead fullback. So, you know what they're doing in that situation. And Texas wasn't able to stop it there.
All right, so you want to take? I'll get in here. For all the Bobo hate, and there's plenty of it, all the Mike Bobo hate, especially first half.
You're going to start that early. We haven't had any Bobo hate tonight.
Oh, you a lie.
We haven't had any in the chat so far, but you're going to start it. All right.
Okay. To navigate that second half with a quarterback who, despite Kirby Smart saying he's played in big games before, not in college, my friend, he hasn't played for you at all.
No, yeah. When he said he's playing some big games, and then Kirk even said he was at Raven County.
Yeah, Tiger, Georgia. That's where the big games are. Gunnar Stockton has talent, and we knew that. But for Mike Bobo to navigate that with him and put points on the board and instantly start with a 70-yard drive, if anything, I thought the running threat opened up some things that Bobo can do. I thought it was really, really, really good. And then the interception that Gunnar had was pretty awful. But that was fun. It was fun to see them kind of navigate those challenges. It was heart palpitating, I'm sure, too. But, wow. It's you're hearing me ramble because I'm organizing my thoughts in real time, Paul. And yeah. I didn't think Georgia was going to win this game. I didn't think at halftime that Georgia should be in position to win this game. And damn it, they won the game. And that's usually what champions end up doing, winning games this.
I'll tell you one thing real quick before I get to Mr. Sampson. Well, actually, look at him, man. He gave 5. He gave 5 last week on the POS. 10 Georgia Bulldog football memberships Mr. Sampson's feeling like Santa Claus right now. He's like Oprah, dude. You get a membership. You get a membership. If you guys got a membership for Mr. Sampson to the UGA Sports YouTube page where you can watch the rumors versus facts that are behind the paywall, there's a lot of information in there that we don't say in front of the paywall, Dane. You know this. There's some stuff back there that really tells you what's going in and out. Maybe the Justice Terry reveal, we'll talk about that on Monday's show. It might be behind the paywall. You might want to get on board. He just gave 10 subs, so we appreciate it.
I will say Roddy had an early note about Carson Beck. Early. Things can change, but if you want to know the latest.
So 22-19, I don't understand this, man. I don't understand this team, but I can tell you one thing. They have some major – they got some major nuts, Dane. They dropped him on the Kirby drops on the table with a fake punt. Gutsy, bro. Truly gutsy.
4th and 3 up 4 and you go for it.
But the thing is, you're looking at your punter like you looked at 95, you're like, oh man, he does not. I don't know if he wants to be here. Yeah. And they call the fake punt. It's just there's so many things in this game. And that's the thing with the Postgame Overreaction show is we just got done watching the game just like you guys did. So we're having to try to process this just like you did. But instead of being able to comment, Dane, our faces are on here and we're having to talk. So it's sometimes a little tough. Justin Farmer with $5 donation. He says, go freaking dogs. Nancy got one of those memberships. That's awesome. We appreciate you, Mr. Sampson, for sure.
I almost wish that we had a Texas fan to pop in here because I would think they're mortified about some of the decisions that Sark made in that game.
So I'll tell you, I'll go ahead and we got Michael Barfield. It says trauma surgeon here, and the hit he took was serious. I'll have to wait and see what IR says. Yeah, it's a pretty gnarly hit. And the way that he stumbled when he got up, I hope he's all right. And I mean, he looked all right. The dog vent, yeah, it's been in and out. Chris, just hang with us here. We'll get it working. I promise. There's so many. There's just so many.
How do you not look at
so
Georgia?
Much different. It seems so much more different, Dane, than like 21 and 22. You dominated with those teams. This team is just pure grit at this point. You lose your quarterback, then you put in your second string quarterback. Who the first drive, Dane? I was like, holy shit, this thing is special. This Gunnar Stockton, where's he been? They're doing read pass options. He's taken off with it. I mean, it was special. It was almost, Dane, it was almost like Bobo had a script for whenever he needed it for Gunnar Stockton's first drive. And that was the script. After that, it got a little hairy, Dane. It got a little bit hairy. You could tell that Bobo is trying to make plays work with Gunnar, but they really haven't run. I mean, they've definitely never ran them against a defense of Texas's caliber, right? So everything's on the fly. Here's the one thing I can tell you, Dane. If the injury to Carson Beck is extremely serious, we looked it up right before the show. Georgia would most likely play in the Sugar Bowl on January 1st. It's almost a whole month for Bobo and everybody else to prepare this offense to surround Gunnar with it.
Yeah, and it can be successful. I think that we saw at least glimmers of that. And I still think a mobile quarterback is something Georgia needs for future. And if Carson Beck can play, he's going to play because he's Georgia's quarterback for now. After that first drive, I was getting ready for the takes of, is Georgia just not good at quarterback evaluation? Because there's like multiple examples. I don't think Gunnar Stockton is Stetson Bennett 2.0. I get why people could like say that.
It's very easy to compare the two, I think, right? But no, it's
the main thing, and it actually has less to do with like Gunnar's play and his decisions and all of that. Did you see the reactions from his teammates afterwards? Like, did you? I think it was. I saw Jurasik like stop him in his tracks, and like,
Oscar Delp, Tate, Ratledge, and Jarrett Wilson were standing behind him while he was doing his interview. Like, this is our guy. We're gonna stand behind him. Like, they literally were standing behind him, Dane, and had his back while he's doing the interview.
Do you see that for Carson Beck? Because I typically don't, and like that's not like a shot or anything. It's just an observation.
Well, it very well could be. Dane, don't do this. Don't do this, Dane. I know what you're doing. It very well could be that the backup quarterback had to come in the SEC championship game, and they were rallying around him. Don't give me that, Dane. Let's bring on Jason Butt real quick, and then we will get to the rest of the guys behind. We'll get on Big John, Eddie, Spano, and Andy. JB.
Yo.
You tell me, brother.
Well, I mean, I'm at a loss, to be honest. Like, first of all, football is a funny sport, and I want to use so many words that I can't use on this show, or at least
we've already gotten 10 subs from Mr. Sampson. You've got enough money already in the show. Say what you got to say, brother.
Well, I'll say, it might get a little more vulgar later, but, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that was insane. Like, you think you have a team. First of all, I think the issue right now with Georgia is I think all the way till the end of their season, whenever it does end, whether it's in the championship or in one of the playoff games, we will never really have a gauge. We will never figure this team out. This team is an enigma, and I hate using that word because of the Aaron Rodgers documentary coming out. But they are the definition of an enigma. And I don't know how to describe them. I mean, they just held Texas to 31 rushing yards. Like, well, my mind is blown. Quinn Ewers, I mean, to an extent, I understand how they were able to stop Quinn Ewers. He wasn't a factor in the first game. But to have that little offensive efficiency and then to rely on dinking and dunking the ball, which – I mean, I was sitting there thinking they got to dink and dunk the ball, and that's the only way they're going to be successful in the second half with Gunnar Stockton. And they did it, and it was successful. And they just took what they could. They did as little as they needed to do, and they got there. They got the 13 points in the second half, and they came out SEC champions. And the defense looked like a Georgia defense that we've been accustomed to seeing for all these years. And if this team shows up, defense and whatever they can get on offense, they have a chance to win the whole thing. That's the crazy part. The defense that we saw the last 2 weeks, no way. No way could they win at all. This game against that team, yeah. I mean, put that performance against any team in the country right now and put my money on Georgia.
Crazy run. I'm going to get rid of our brand sponsor real quick. We will be back to Benton and Benton, but I want to four-box this and kind of see if we can't power through some of these callers here. Beyond Creative, hey, shout out to the team. Join the team. We got Jermaine King in the building. I see Mr. Sampson saying Jermaine's here. I hadn't seen him. Where is he at? I'm sure he's here. Jermaine, shout out to you. Man, what do you think Justice Terry's feeling like right now? All right, we won't go there.
Who cares
right.
what Justice Terry is feeling, honestly? Here's the thing. Like, I love the recruiting game, but that was a whole, like, saga, right? And you know what? Part of me thinks that, like, when guys are like that and they're more about themselves, it's okay to turn the page. And now
here's the thing, Jason. He had every. This is the only thing, because I won't talk about recruiting very often. Yeah. He had every opportunity to commit to Georgia. He didn't do it. Let him go to Texas. Have fun out there.
Let him go. Let him go. Like that. That's my thought on.
There's one guy I won't let go though. He's deep in my heart, and I'm sorry, Andy. He came in after you, but I have to let him on first. It's Big John.
SEC.
What's up, baby?
Hey. Heck of a game. And I'm going to say this. Dane's on to something. That wasn't phony, those guys getting jacked up for Gunnar Stockton. That wasn't a Rudy moment. There's something there.
I want to say one thing real quick about that, and because I didn't hear what Dane had to say because I was doing, but I think I know what you're saying. The players did the same thing for Stetson.
Don't do this, man.
After the Arkansas game.
Guys, don't do this.
So let's just throw out – I'm sorry.
It's true.
They did that for Stetson for years. Like,
Paul,
they would run through a wall for that guy.
Yeah. Paul, that was not a backup quarterback in the SEC. Let's rally behind him, cheer. That wasn't – the kid did – the guy's not a kid. Clearly doesn't need confidence. But Hey, I don't care what anybody says. I got a call back in December of 15 on a fateful Sunday afternoon from a guy that's no longer with us that hadn't got to see any of this and said Kirby Smart is going to save us. And he saved us from media. And I think Mark Rick is a wonderful man. But Kirby Smart saved us from mediocrity. Kirby Smart, whenever we may lose games, but you're always in the fight with that joker. And I don't care if they go to Elberton or wherever, that statue needs to go up at some point. Pay the man, keep the man. I mean, again, I know that there's haters. There's not really, you can't hate him. And I'm not a huge Mike Bobo fan, but I think it's because he's got a lot of Rick blood in him. But he did a good job today. He did a good job today.
It's kind of like some Yellowstone shit, John. He got a lot of Rick blood in him. I don't know about him.
Listen, he called a heck of he did a great job. And here's another thing to throw out there. Is it more of what Carson Beck didn't do this year as opposed to what Mike Bobo didn't do? I think you see a lot of what Mike Bobo can do with a mobile quarterback. You saw that tonight. And I'll throw another log in this fire. There's no way you're not giving that ball to Stockton in the Sugar Bowl. I'm sorry. And I know they won't, and I know what we're talking. Tell me this. What other than what has he done this year? Not last year, not his career. What has Carson Beck done to deserve to have the ball in the playoff?
I'll say this. I mean, I will push back on that. I didn't think that either. One, it looked like the way they called the game in the second half, and this does counter. Obviously, I think the players like Gunner. Obviously, they're rallying around him, so that's why I wanted to point that out there. Same with Stetson, but you look at how they called the game in that second half, and it was very, very, very safe. They did not want to push the ball downfield the way they can with Carson Beck. So
can we also talk about the interception Gunner threw?
You're right about that.
Yes,
I mean, listen.
But I want to make this point. Like, there are clearly the passing offense is going to be more open with Carson Beck. Now, if Gunner's your guy, if Beck is too injured to play in the playoffs, you have to adjust. And I think that's not to say Stockton can't be successful, but you're going to have to start adjusting to his strengths and not and yeah, maybe running more, doing a lot more. Like I said earlier, dinking and dunking. Like, you're not going to be able to go vertical. You're not And part of me wonders, honestly, if that shouldn't have been pulled back, because you've seen this offense try to stretch teams, and you've seen receivers drop, Arian Smith in particular, drop balls time and time again. And so while Carson Beck himself has not had a good season, I'm not going to defend him whatsoever. Either the quarterback nor the receivers have really pulled their end of it. And so when you're talking about the playoffs and having playing against much better defenses, the Texas type defenses, you're going to have to call games to the strength of your personnel. Part of me wonders if a guy like Gunner Stockton, not necessarily if Beck's healthy, you're going with Beck. I think that's first and foremost. Yeah. But you almost have to dial it back and be much more safe with the play calling, because I think by the second or third, it was the drop that Arian had where he jumped up in the air again and he tried to put it in with his body, that I was sitting there going, I don't know why this guy plays at this point. I really don't. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but I mean, you're
because he jumped on that fumble.
Guys are recruited, and then now they're being paid to be in these positions, and if you're Carson, you're going mad. I mean, because you are making that throw, and it's a good throw, and it's in coverage, and the guy is just he's not able to do his job. So you have to play to your strengths, and so yeah. I mean, I know that
listen
reply, but I think Carson does give them a better chance to win than Gunner does.
I mean, I'm on a high. There's no doubt. You're right. So I have two quick things. I know you got a ton of people that I want to
John. I do.
What are you guys are the experts? What is being told? And maybe Dane, you alluded to it. Maybe it is things like that. What is being told to Nitro Tuggle and Sokobe White after seeing 11 game after game after game? What are they not doing, do you think? Blocking? Do they not know the playbook? I mean, and I'm just a novice fan. Like, what are they being told?
Look at all the winning plays that Arian makes, though, that are not on offense. So, one, he chased and got on that fumble that probably saved Georgia's season. They don't win the SEC without that. He was the one that got the fake punt, reverse. He's also a gunner on special teams. This has long been a thing for Kirby Smart. If you do it all, then you're going to get playing time.
Yeah, it's For Arian, it's almost like it sucks, right? The drops, but like Dane said, he saved your ass on numerous times, falling on fumbles. I think he's at least saved 4 or 5. What are you doing, Jason? What?
I'm saying like that and falling on fumbles.
But Jason, Anthony Evans didn't do that last week. Anthony Evans just didn't chase down a play.
But I mean, like if you have Dylan Bell in that situation, maybe.
Dylan Bell's hurt right now, so
fumbles are a fumble. First of all, fumbles are just a freak thing. I don't want to say, oh my gosh, you play Arian Smith to fall on a fumble. I mean,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's one of your team leaders that does everything. So if he can play receiver, he's gonna play receiver.
Yeah. Sure, right. And and here's the thing, like look, blocking, Arian Smith has been great at it. And then, of course, you go to special teams. He had the, like you said, the punt return. He had the gunner. He had the tackle on one of those punts that Thorson hit.
Yeah.
He's not. I'm just saying, on offense as a receiver, I don't get it at this point. I really don't.
James Caraway says designated fall on fumble guy. Love that.
I don't like. The thing is, like, I don't want to give him too much credit for recovering that fumble. I mean, like it bounced in the right spot. He hustled. That's good. You should hustle.
You realize that he's Georgia's leading receiver on the season, right?
Yeah, he is.
He's Georgia's leading receiver on the season.
But like,
look. I'm
100 yards in 12 games.
Look, order in the court, man. Order in the court. Look, I think we all agree that his drops are very untimely. They're not great.
Sure.
But he also does a lot of stuff for your football team, and there's a reason why he's playing.
You can still do those things without being the X receiver.
But Georgia doesn't lead the nation in drops only because of Arian Smith. Like,
Jason,
who you put in there?
Jason, they also do not have both of them. They don't have an X receiver on this team. Ra Thomas, Colby Young, they're both gone.
We'll see. For Georgia,
Colby Young will be back, right?
Yeah, December 10th is the day.
December 10th is a big day, John.
Let me ask you this real quick. When they turn on the TV tomorrow, or say Oregon loses tonight, Georgia the number 1 team in the country with that schedule?
No,
I don't think so.
So the highest, which is fine. I think they're better off at 2 with how it's going to shake out.
I don't know how it plays out, but all I know is they've got to bye, John, and I've got to say bye to you.
All right, man. See y'all.
Call back. See you, John. Love you. Bye. Let's get he's not going to take too long. Let's get him in here. Let's get Spano in here. Then we'll get Andy and Eddie. They always they got good points. Anthony really just kind of talks. So there he is.
What?
I haven't seen you in like 10 shows, bro. Like I don't even know if you really.
That was a little disrespectful, Paul. That was a little disrespectful.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you. Look, I have a job to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, first overreaction, because I don't have anything to talk about, Paul. Can we not stop anybody when it's 3rd and 15 or 20 plus in the first half?
Not when Daniel Harris is covering them and you throw over the top.
No, Paul, I want to hear what you have to say. Because you're such a smart ass right now, and Tony doesn't have nothing to say. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to get off. He's just going to probably fall asleep. Just speak your fucking piece, brother.
No, you're exactly right. And we said it. I said it on Twitter. I said, look, you need to put Ellis Robinson in at this point.
I don't have Twitter.
Well, you should see. You would have known. But they were picking on Daniel Harris. They picked on him all game.
Well, I know that, but I'm still not 19 years old, and I don't need Twitter. All right, Jason, your hair looks great, by the way.
I'm telling you what happened. That's the reason they were getting those long plays.
Well, it was 50-50 balls. It was a one-look read and go.
Well, you had the one. So you had the one that was over his head, and I won't count that against him. But you also had the play where Starks had to go chase him down because Daniel Harris got beat on the quick in and out route, and he was
that not zone coverage on the corners though?
Yeah, it could have been, but why was he still way up there as opposed to dropping back at least some?
Okay, all right. And number 2, just because I don't make any like real statements in here, and you just want to get me off the fucking channel. Trevor Etienne went to Georgia for what reason? What did he say when he transferred to Georgia?
He wanted to be in championship games, did he not?
What did he do today?
He dropped 94 and 2 tutties on Texas.
Patted those ribs and took the pain.
So that's how many touchdowns against Texas?
I mean, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't know. How many was the last game? 3? So 5?
It's 5. It's 5. It's basic math, Paul. It's basic math, you know? So you guys have a great night, and I'm going to leave, and I'm not going to leave a really bad. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But no, I've been ill. I've been going through a bunch of stuff. But
hey,
yeah,
Spano, in all seriousness, Spano, I am very happy to see you back, brother. I've missed you
dude,
very much.
I miss you guys, man. Yeah, I watch you guys as much as I possibly can. Jason, keep growing the hair out. Dane, keep doing those cook takes. Some of those things are so, oh my God. And just let Paul run the show, because that's what we're going to try to do, guys. God bless everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And
hey,
let's go Dogs in the new year with a bye.
Hey, with a bye, baby. See you, Spano. See,
I think that playing your backup quarterback in the SEC championship should just be a strategy at this point. Seems like it's worked quite a lot.
I saw them bring out Arch right on that first play in overtime, and I was like, There's no way they're about to do this.
Yeah, and I had a feeling it was just for one play. I was like, they're testing Georgia. They're gonna see if they can get pop off a play here.
That's the dumb part, though, is that if you watch what Haynes King did to Georgia, you definitely should have played Arch Manning more than you did.
There was a lot about Sark tonight that I was like, I'm not gonna say that.
So Sark,
he had a lot tonight that I was really skeptical.
He went a little crazy on a lot of things. The halftime speech with Laura Rutledge talking about, I hope they call some holding penalty. Look, I get it. Georgia is or has been very undisciplined this year, right? They were disciplined tonight. Texas was not. I didn't see any
holding call in the first half when they showed the replay. It was legit.
I didn't, and I'm normally a stickler on the refs, right? I didn't see a call that went against Texas.
I thought this was a pretty ref-friendly game for Georgia.
Yeah,
I thought a lot of things that were called against Texas. I was like, hey, even there was one the false start. I was like, I didn't even see a false start happen.
Look, I think most of those calls were legit. I don't think they have a reason to gripe there. That one man that does have a reason to gripe because he sat here for 25 minutes like a loyal man is Andy Stell.
I don't have a reason to gripe. I'm good. I don't know how to follow Spano though. I'm a little scared now. So,
what do you think?
Preaching, I think.
Yeah, he did. No, dude, I don't know. I'm still shaking. That was after we played 8 overtimes last week and then overtime today, and you have your starting quarterback almost with a broke arm coming out there. He looked like he just couldn't move it, and somehow he handed it off, and Trevor Etienne just dogged it. 16 carries for 94 yards. I didn't
think he had that many. I didn't think he had 90 because during the whole game I didn't. Let me ask you guys. Do you guys look at the stats as the game is going on? Like, are you pulling up ESPN and looking at stats?
No, I'm not actually.
I'm not either. So like the first time I looked at the stat book was when I got up here because I'm just trying to be in the moment. I'm trying to watch the game as it happens. Now, obviously, the stats, and they didn't show a ton of stats on the actual ESPN ABC broadcast. I saw Ewers passing yards, I think, once on the broadcast.
Yeah.
There weren't many stats they actually threw up there. So when I got up here to start the show, I said, oh, shit, 16 for 94, 2 touchdowns, 5.9 a carry for that 48-yarder really helped out his average.
Huge.
But, man.
And how about Nate
Frazier? 47.
Yeah.
Can Rashada and Puglisi just not hand the ball off?
I was wondering about that. I guess not, Dane. The answer is no.
There's a trust level there, man.
But his arm was limp. That's
what if you put Rashada in and he fumbles?
But Rashada has 2 good arms compared to one.
But I was worried about
Rashada comes in with 2 good arms and fumbles the I'm just saying.
I didn't know.
You ask Carson Beck on the sideline, can you take the snap and hand the ball off? Yes. Okay, go do that.
I didn't know if he could
take a snap.
Because one play, like if Etienne doesn't score, you put Gunner right back in. It's just literally, can you take the snap, hand the ball off?
Yeah, but I didn't know if he could do this. That was the thing. I didn't think that arm would get up here. I thought it would be like he would go to lift and just fall. Because you saw when he was walking out, he looked like a dude with an arm that was broken. That's what I thought was about to happen. And then next thing you know,
it felt very irresponsible.
It did.
Back
I
on a
was
football field.
I disagree. I think that it was very, in that moment, if Carson Beck said, I can't grip, if he couldn't grip a football, they wouldn't have put him in that situation. It seems to be it's probably the motion of throwing the ball.
But that's a high snap or a missed snap and he's got to go to the ground for it, ooh.
But he's under center. He's not
okay. How many snaps have you seen?
One play, Dane. It's one play. It's literally
Look, Indy Clip says, and I trust Indy Clip to not lie to me. He's a good friend of the show. He says Kirby said that they were prepared to put Puglisi in, but one of the coaches said Beck could take the snap.
Okay, there you go.
So there we go. So they were good, because I was a little bit concerned about that, but also just as a competitor, right? And Carson Beck is obviously a competitor. You've seen it all season.
Yeah.
If they come to you and they're like, "Hey, can you hand this ball off?" His arm would. Yes, I can.
He's
coach.
going to say yes. Yeah.
Yes. He's not going to be like, no, I can't do it. He's going to go in. And that also shows heart too. You guys want to talk about all the heart Gunnar Stockton had, right? It shows heart going back in there, and your arm is, he's probably shot up with whatever, drugs they use to
Toradol, which I had shingles and they gave me Toradol momentarily. I know, too much TMI.
I've had it. You don't feel bad. I've had it.
Toradol is legit, and I get why they give it to players in those situations, because it took every pain away, and you're not high, and you feel like you can just resume regular stuff. And they probably gave him some Toradol, honestly.
Yeah,
that is a great drug.
Georgia wins, guys, 22-19. We're just gonna restart the show here. No,
it's not addictive. You shouldn't overuse it. Blah blah blah.
Okay, well, I want to ask you guys. So I do have a question. I know we got torched 358 yards through the air, and Golden had 162, and Moore had 114. But how about that run defense? That defensive line, and every one of them was just causing problems. We kept them for 28 rushes for 31 yards. Is this the best the defensive line has looked all year? Because this is a guy that rushed for 1,000 yards last week, and we shut him down.
Against Texas as a team, twice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the best.
Dominated.
They did it in Austin too.
I think, like Jason said, there was a lot of questionable calls by Sark in this game, and rushing for 19 attempts with a guy when he's just not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And you're literally 358 yards. You're lighting up Georgia through the air. And you go and run first and second down runs, and then you put yourself at 3rd and 7. It's just, if I was a Texas fan, I'd be going what just happened? We were crushing it through the air, and then certain points of the game, hey, we're just going to hand the ball off twice and then put ourselves behind the chains on 3rd down. What?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I right before Texas only touchdown, the quick,
quick slant,
quick slant. I had texted a friend. He thought I was ahead in the game. I said it was after the run right at the end of the 3rd quarter, and I go, Sark must be drunk, because why in the world is he running the ball this much? This is crazy. And then he goes, oh, okay. I don't know. He's like, you must be ahead. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. But
it didn't make much sense what they were doing.
That was the point. I was just like, I don't know why he's not throwing the ball. And so
we couldn't stop that slant, and we could not stop the over the top. We couldn't stop it.
They were playing man, so they were trying to prevent the outside. So they were giving the leverage for the receiver was inside. So, that's why they couldn't stop it. And that's just Kirby's defense. He wants to play man on the outside. Yeah. And so the slant was going to be there, but you're not going to get much on it. And so I just, that's the thing to me. It's that Georgia's defense has not looked good a lot of times this year. And Texas has 2 losses this year, and they're both to Georgia. And Georgia's defense has looked like the elite and one of the best defenses in the country against them both times.
And
it makes you wonder, is it a Texas thing or is it Georgia?
It's a Quinn Ewers thing.
Ducati 1098 says Georgia is battle hardened. I'm not scared at all now. Any of you guys scared about what these playoffs bring? I will say by far, by far, Georgia is the most battle-tested, battle-hardened team that is going to be in these playoffs, bar none.
Paul, let me throw this scenario at you. Based on standings now, and we'll see tomorrow, so this could all be obliterated. Most likely opponent for Georgia is probably Texas.
There's no, dude. All right, so
where's Texas going to fall in this?
We got to pull up the standings and see. I haven't even looked since. I'm glad.
All right. Would Texas fall below Ohio State? Because I don't think so.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't fall
right?
below Ohio State.
All right. So if that's the gap there, then you're probably putting Texas at 7.
Yeah. And they're going to host. Yeah, they would go.
They would host.
Yep.
Likely in Indiana.
Yep.
Take care of them.
They're going to kill Indiana, and then they're going to play us.
Meet Georgia and New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I really, really hope that, and I don't want to
flip. They should flip the 2 and 5.
Look, I just hope that whatever happens, the committee looks at this long and hard and says, okay, we've kind of already messed this up by giving the top 4 conferences a bye, right? Like we see that that's kind of a joke, right? Because Arizona State now I think is going to get a bye potentially. Boise State, like there's just teams that probably shouldn't get a bye. So we've already messed that up. How can we fix this though? There's a way that you can fix this. Is let's not have teams play each other for a third time. Like,
but you know what that does though? That knocks out an SEC national championship.
Inevitable though. I'm not opposed to the third part. I just think that there's got to be an equitable way to. I don't know. That's the right word, but it's a way to distinguish the teams that makes more sense than what the committee has shown so far.
And it's also okay. Yes, I get it. If Texas is the best team and they come out the other side of the bracket and you have to play them a third time, sure. But I think the only time you should have to play a third time is if it goes to a national title.
I just you're going to be able to manage that.
That's going to be too hard to see. Like you can't just.
I know. So it's
because then you're saying that like in this case, let's say if Ohio State would have beaten Michigan, then you would have had to have Texas and Georgia on opposite sides of the bracket, but then also Oregon and Ohio State on opposite sides of the bracket.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, it's
saved you from that.
It's tough. It's tough. But
Paul, before I get out of here, I want to ask you guys one thing though. We talked about Gunner. If we find out tomorrow or Monday or whatever that Beck is out, what tweaks do you think they do to the offense? That gives you 3 weeks with Gunner running the offense. So they're going to have to take shots. They in that first drive, they were taking shots and he's zipping balls, and then they sort of stopped. So what changes?
Well, Andy, did you see national pundits like hop on there and start comparing Georgia to Florida State before like the second half even begin? Like they were like, "Oh, is Georgia a playoff team? Do you punish them because they don't have a quarterback?"
Paul Maher, he sent that same message about a buddy of his, sent it to him, and he was like, "Dude, what happens? We're going to get."
I had a friend who texted me that.
And I had a guy.
Are we going to get FSU? That's what
I have a guy send me a message in the first half of the game. We're getting Bobo'd. He's terrible. We got to get blah blah blah. I hadn't heard nothing else from him since that. I mean, but yeah,
it's just, those situations don't compare at all because the rest of Georgia's team is
so much better
than what Florida State's was. Georgia's team is not dependent on one player, and that's how it won an SEC championship when it played better in the second half than it did a first half.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, well, guys, this is fun. Let Eddie on here. I'm sure he's chopping at the bit.
Oh, Eddie, yeah, he's gonna complain that he's been sitting back there for 10 minutes. So, all right, Andy, see you, brother. Jason, you got to edit?
Let's find out. Not yet. You can kick me off if you want.
All right, I'm going to kick you off so I can put my logos back up so it doesn't look crazy.
Y'all take care.
Love you, Jason. See you,
Jason.
Let me put my logos back up here real quick. And before I get taking too long to get this pulled up, let me get this pulled up and then let's just get Eddie on. And then I'll do it after. Eduardo.
Hey,
from
boys.
Ackworth.
How are y'all?
What's up?
I hate you kicked Jason off. I really wanted to hear what he had to say after what I have to say, but that's okay. That's okay. Dane, you will love this. So at halftime, I left the house and said, I got to have a drink. And this is what I bought right here.
Yeah.
I went and bought some Fiddler. Okay.
Hey.
So,
who makes Fiddler, Eddie?
ASL.
ASW.
ASL is what you used to say in your AIM chats back in the day, Eddie.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, it helps the Georgia Bulldogs, right? So I contributed to the win, right, Dane? Come on.
You did. 5 of the 6 founders, UGA grads.
Who had the biggest pass tonight, guys?
Drew Bobo.
That's damn it. I was hoping I'd stump you, but you're exactly right. That's exactly right.
I already made the joke on Twitter. Quarterback developer Mike Bobo.
Yep. I mean, that was unbelievable. Paul, I'm going to say I'm with you on this because everybody's freaking out about Gunnar Stockton. He's the answer, all this kind of stuff. Slow your roll, okay? He is what he is, okay? He came in. There was some energy on that first drive. Hey, I'm going to give the guy credit. He won the game for us. He did. He's not the answer. It was obvious. Texas was keying in on him every time. He can't throw the ball downfield. He's not Carson Beck, okay? So John, etc., saying Carson's the answer. No. Carson, I mean, Gunner's the answer. Carson is the answer. I'm sorry. And he may be out for the year. I don't know. Have we heard anything about that? Is he got a broken bone?
I don't know,
hand?
but I love Tipsy Eddie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can tell you're a little tipsy. I can see. I like that.
I am.
I like that. I like. It's almost like you're taking a little edge off Eddie.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry.
We don't know the status for sure. If you go over to the dog bin at UGA Sports, you can see some early rumblings that we're hearing. But honestly, for us to like even say some of that would be slightly irresponsible until we hear more. Because he might be able to play in 2 weeks. And
no, it's not 2 weeks, Dane. You keep saying
that's what I'm saying. He might be able to go in 2 weeks, and Georgia doesn't need him for what, 3.5?
Yeah. So that's that. I think a couple things happened here, Eddie, that help the Gunner situation, right? Or excuse me, the Carson situation.
Oh, well, okay. You can screw up, but I can't. But go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
No. The thing you've made me lose my train of thought.
Good.
The things that help the Carson situation. You have 3.5 weeks, I think, to go right now. I don't know. I don't know elbows though, Dane. I'm not an elbow guy. You don't normally see like elbow injuries to your quarterback and how quickly that turns around. I mean, and here's the thing. When will Kirby actually tell us anything meaningful? We'll have to get it back channel wise, obviously. But like Kirby's going to be like, yeah, he's day to day, right? And there's Eddie, you know, there's been plenty of guys throughout the years that have been day to day, and they've been out for the whole season.
Oh, of course.
So it's Trevor says Paul's not an elbow guy. Noted. I'm not.
Let me, Eddie, you're right that I don't think Gunnar Stockton is the answer. Like, had he been, he would have played long before in the middle of the season when Carson was throwing a ton of interceptions.
Right.
But there are things that he presents to your offense that allows your offense to do things that it can do that Carson Beck can't do. And that's like neither of the guys are the true answer to me. Carson Beck is a much better downfield passer, but why are you running any read option or RPO stuff with him? Because he's not going to keep the ball and run.
Because he's not going to keep
Although
the ball.
He started doing that a little bit more, but more is just like scrambles and stuff. These were design runs that they had for Gunner that they had productive plays on. So you get to explore that part of what Bobo has in his arsenal that you haven't been able to do with Beck. So I think this is overall, if Beck's healthy, you go with it because that's your quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things that Gunner does that Carson can't, and things that Carson can do that Gunner can't.
Here's the question that I have, Eddie, and I'll pitch it to you real quick. Jermaine King says we are, quote, limited with Gunner, but hopefully Bobo could create a Gunner gameplay in 3 weeks, or we'd go back to the, quote, old school game manager / Kirby ball. That's really weird that he says that. That first drive was like, all right, we got Gunner in there. I'm about to throw these plays out that I haven't been able to use all year. And then after that, it was like, all right, we're going to now get into this. And I always think game manager, I think Alex Smith, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hate that because, but we get into like the Alex Smith type of game manager. Hey, just don't lose us the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it did seem like Georgia ran the ball better when Gunner was the quarterback.
Sure,
now,
but
maybe
but
that's because it's late in the game against Texas and people get tired.
Yeah, but could that be second half adjustments and they'd done that anyway, right?
It totally could have been, Eddie. I'm not sure. But the most frustrating thing about Georgia's offense this year to me is it hasn't established a consistent running game.
Right.
And
well, here's also a thing, Eddie.
Some of that.
We think Gunner didn't do great. He was 12 of 16, but how many of those shots were downfield, right?
None.
It was like 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, you had his first pass go to Arian Smith for 18 yards, and then his third pass went 14 yards to Lost and Lucky, that one where you kind of toe tap the edge, right? After that, 4, 7, 9, minus 2, 0, 7, 3, 9, minus 2, 4. I like the kid, and I think it was a good change of pace, and like having to come in and play in the SEC championship game when you haven't played all year. You played against Tennessee Tech, then do what he did. Like, give the kid his flowers, but let's not give him the team just yet, Dane, is all I'm saying. Let's just not do that just yet.
The pick was atrocious. That pick should have cost us the football game. Was it? I mean, right? That pick was bad. And that's the kind of thing that Carson Beck sees and throws the ball away or takes a sack or
now
whatever.
Now he does, Eddie. Now he does.
Yes.
Mid-season, he was throwing that kind of
Okay. But the point is, John got on here earlier and was like, Gunnar Stockton, he's the answer. He's the man. I just slow your roll there a little bit, okay? I mean, we want Carson Beck healthy. That's the point.
Dane, you know what we really want? There's kind of a little feud between Eddie and John. It's a small feud, but it's a friendly feud. It's like two brothers.
It's fine.
Guess who's back, Eddie? John's back. Can I bring him on?
Good. Yes, I'd love it.
It's like the two brothers.
I love the guy.
He's wearing a Hurricanes jersey. Is that
no.
What is that?
No.
It looks like Miami Hurricanes.
No,
I
that's
know.
my son's
I know
baseball
it's.
team.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know.
No,
I thought it may be the Purple Hurricanes then.
I agree 100%. I was high. I was on a high. I said that in the call.
He did at the end. He did
on
at the
a
end.
high or
No.
There's a difference there.
I was on a high.
Okay.
But let me just ask this because I didn't get to ask it earlier. There's clearly a problem with the offense.
Oh yeah.
So is it scheme or is it players or is it a combination of both? And I will say this too. In defending Gunnar, I don't think there's two plays that I really questioned tonight. They ran a toss sweep to the boundary on Gunnar's first drive when they kicked the field goal, and then he ran a quarterback sweep to the boundary. I don't think maybe I got that reversed. I don't mind Mike Bobo. That's not what I'm saying. Is it more Carson Beck than Mike Bobo? Was that shown tonight with Gunnar Stockton? And I don't know the answer.
Look, I'm not going to answer this, and neither is Dane. It's the Eddie versus John for the next 2 minutes.
No.
Take the
Eddie clearly
I'll take it. I think Kirby Smart makes adjustments. We watched it all year long, right? At halftime. He does. And he would have made adjustments, period. And if we had seen Carson Beck in the game in the second half, granted, the legs aren't there. I grant you that. But Carson Beck would have found receivers that Gunnar Stockton cannot see and did not see and threw an awful pick that should have cost us a football game. Okay. So I'm just saying, let's just slow the roll. I'm going to give Gunnar all the credit in the world. He did a great job tonight. He did what he needed to do to win the football game. But going forward, if we have Gunnar Stockton as our starting quarterback next week or 2 weeks from now, that's not good. We need Carson Beck as the starting quarterback.
Hey, Eddie, we heard this a lot from 2021 through 2022 about the same guy, same type build that got the same reactions from his teammates.
Who are you talking about? The
guy that has 2 back-to-back rings.
Wait. Hold on now. I mean, Carson Beck has done all this all year, and you're just going to throw him to the wolves?
No. I'm not saying that. If Carson Beck is healthy, he needs to play.
Okay, we're done. We're done discussing this. That's all I'm saying.
Court is dismissed then, Paul. It looks like.
Right. That's it. If Paul, he's not healthy, I'm with you.
Paul, do you remember the section of the dog vent that after Georgia won a national championship, the only thing they were disappointed in was that Stetson Bennett was going to come back and have to be the starting quarterback?
Yeah, it was crazy. There were still people, and just for everybody that's watching, I appreciate John. I appreciate Eddie, and they do not have any beef.
I have a beef. I'm going to beat John's ass after this. I'm kidding, John.
Oh.
Go ahead, Paul.
No, it's one of those things, guys, where this is the reason I brought John back on, is there are going to be these two opinions, the one that Eddie has and the one that John has. And you could get on either side of this argument and feel like you're correct. And that's why I brought both of you guys on, because I think, Dane, and you can back me up or not, I think there's going to be many, because there's been a ton of people this year that are anti-Beck, right? And they saw Gunner come in. They're like, oh my God. The first drive was miraculous.
It was awesome.
Right? So that is going to be what sticks with people in their head. And he also helped win you an SEC championship game.
Sure.
So you're going to have that crowd.
You're going to have that. And you're going to have the people who are like, why is Lawson Lucky making that catch like for him?
Yeah.
And Lawson Lucky saved the game too.
100%.
Lawson Lucky saved the game.
And you're also going to have
to push that guy out of bounds.
Yes, he did, John. That's probably the play of the game, honestly. That's because there was nobody else on the side of that field.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see it on the replay. Texas was lining up in front of him. He had 3 or 4 guys to take him to the end zone.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, you're going to also see what John talked about. The guys were rallying around Gunner. Now, was it like I said, hey, it's the backup that came in and helped win it for you, and so you're excited for him? Or is it more to the story, like John said, where this team really wants to get behind Gunner Stockton? I don't know if we'll ever know the answer to that.
So I have one more thing. First of all, ESPN just flashed that he's getting an MRI, which I don't think that's very much breaking news. But let me ask you this, and there's another AJ McCarron's out there, and I've been thinking about this. He's on a podcast now. He does a great job. Is Kirby Smart more in line with Nick Saban that he needs a quarterback of a personality like himself? Is there something to that as well? Stetson had a very much of a FU mentality like Kirby Smart does. Carson Beck clearly doesn't have that. And I don't think that Kirby Smart rides Carson Beck, but does Kirby Smart as a quarterback with that sort of demeanor play better in a Kirby Smart run team?
I mean,
give you a better chance.
If you listen to Kirby quotes, it seems like he's very comfortable and confident with Carson Beck's mentality.
Right.
Whereas with Stetson, he was always on his case.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But John, let me ask you this. I'm going to ask you this. If Carson Beck is healthy in 2 weeks, it's 2 weeks, right?
Well, it's 3.
New Year's Day, whatever that is.
New Year's Day. It is
next week. It is 3. Or
what?
Sugar Bowl. Okay, Sugar Bowl. If Carson Beck is healthy, are you wanting to start Gunner Stockton?
Oh no.
Okay. Well, then it's over. I mean, we're done discussing this, right?
That's what we said.
But there are going to be people that want him to start, though, Eddie.
Well, then they're idiots.
Fiddler, man. Fiddler got him.
John, I love you.
I love you too, guys. Eddie, you're the man. Hey, is Marist have a chance?
Oh, hell yeah. They're a machine. Me and Brent Rollins are going to watch it together.
What day do they play?
The 18th.
Monday at 7. Monday.
We play at Carrollton Road. Chaz Chandler. Another great game. Carrollton plays Grayson.
Okay. Yeah, Carrollton's a machine too. I love that y'all beat Buford. That was awesome.
And I'm we've been chasing that ghost for a long time.
I know.
Hey,
that was
love
awesome.
you guys. Thanks.
See you, brother.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, hell of a thing here.
Paul, if you want to kick me off, that's fine. Whatever you want to do.
Jason Butch just texted me that Toradol is basically just mega strength, extra strength Advil. You don't get high. And he said he just wanted to make that clear.
Okay.
Oh,
Eddie,
okay.
appreciate you, brother.
All right. Thank you, boys.
See ya. Let's get Basin J in here, then Willie Carr. Let me see. We got Double G in the background. We got Jordan back behind him. James, I see you as well. We got Chris. Let's get old Basin in here, Dane. What up, brother?
Hello, man. How y'all tonight?
Doing well.
Oh man.
How are you?
Yeah, how are you?
Wore the hell out. All I can tell you.
Yeah.
Couple quick thoughts. I have been a professional wrestling fan for like 45 years now.
Oh God.
And there's a term in professional wrestling that's called selling, right? That's when you get slammed and all of a sudden you grab your lower back and you limp around and that type of thing. Carson Beck coming back on the field for that last play with his left arm hanging limp, dragging it behind him, Poor bastard could hardly move. And he takes it. Now, I don't think he was faking an injury in any stretch or form, but I don't think he could throw the ball, but I think he was okay to take a snap and hand it off. And that's what they used to kind of run that last play. I just thought it was great when he came out and that one arm's, hanging 2 foot lower than the other one, and here he comes. Poor Carson Beck, bless his heart, he just can't hardly move.
So you think in the what is it, the wrestling world, it's called selling?
He sold it. Just beautiful. It was awesome.
Now,
and I don't know how that run with Gunner that will go down as legendary in Georgia football history for taking that lick, and how that's not targeting, I don't know, because he launched, he hit him in the head, he blew his helmet 8 yards back behind it. I mean, that was it. 10 years ago, that would have been beautiful, right? We would have all been just holy, But
your dog even agrees.
Yeah, I mean, he's fired up over it. But right. I don't know how that's not targeting in that situation. But that's fine. It is what it is. It worked out for us. But that play will go down in Georgia lore. Gunner Stockton will never pay for a drink or a round of golf in the state of Georgia in his life. Is all I can tell you.
Well, you're the man, Basin. I appreciate you coming on. I would keep you longer, but the dog obviously has seen a ghost.
Something's happening. So I don't know. I got to get out of here before it all gets done. But
all right, brother.
Anyway,
see ya.
Take care, brothers. Go dog.
All right. Sorry for the dog, guys. I can't help it.
I don't think you have to apologize for dogs on this channel.
True. But like you're sitting there like in your dog, then your dog starts barking. It's a chain reaction dog.
Yeah.
Dane, I just don't want that to happen to folks. We had Roddy's alter ego, old Basin J, in here. That was wild. He does look like Roddy. Speaking of Roddy, he is at the he's at the game, or he's coming back from the game with Coach Donnan. So be cool if he could call in. I don't know. They might be listening. You think they're listening, Dane? I doubt it.
No way.
No.
No way.
There's no way Coach is allowing that in the car on the way home, listening to me and you talk for the next 2 hours. There's just no chance that Coach would allow that. Red and Black Dog, he's a subscriber, guys. He's got that little S by his name. It means he is a subscriber to this UGA Sports YouTube channel. It helps us out a ton, guys. $4.99 a month. You get some vaccine access to the YouTube channel. He says them dogs barked loudest tonight. Speaking of barking loud, Dane, this guy here, Benton and Benton, they bark pretty loud. They are some attorneys out of Monroe, Georgia. Bart Benton, right here, injured. Be smart, call Bart. Him and his father started this up. His dad was a high-level court judge in Walton County. Bart went and got his law degree, went to college in Charleston, played basketball, Dane. Hell of a basketball player. Came back home, and they opened this up. I went to school with Bart in middle school. Amazing guy. They've recovered over $55 million this year in 2024, Dan. It's a lot of dollars. It's a lot of zeros there. If you are ever injured, make sure to be smart. Call Bart. Very simple. The number's right there, 866-974-0330. BentonandBentonLaw.com. They will make sure and take care of you. They are one of 3 sponsors for this here Postgame Overreaction show, and we appreciate them greatly. They're great, great humans and big, big dog fans. So if you ever are in need of a personal injury lawyer, Benton and Benton Attorneys at Law, let them know UJ Sports sent you, and they'll take care of you just like family. So we appreciate it.
Couple score updates for you, Paul. Clemson 21, SMU 7. It's halfway through the second quarter. Also, early second quarter, Oregon 21, Penn State 10. So the SEC championship is the only one that points are not being scored in.
Are those the only 2 games left, championship-wise?
Marshall's playing Louisiana, but I don't think you care too much.
Power 5, right? Or Power 4, right?
Group of 5.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, are there any more Power 4 games? No.
Be a wrap.
Yeah. Let's get William Carlin on here with us. Old Mr. Willie. Let him get set up here for a second. He's looking down at the ground. There he is. Mr. Willie.
Hey, Paul.
How's the game?
Thanks for letting me in, buddy.
How was the game?
Just to be repetitive, Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Mm.
Go dog.
That sound that the way that you sounded that was it made that sound was very Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, but it sounded very McConaughey, who we saw him
look just like him and all, you know.
Yeah, we did see him quite a lot on the Texas sideline over there. He was standing behind Sark, like literally, like he was inside the team. Anyways,
I was not aware Sark was such a prick until the halftime interview there.
Wasn't good. It wasn't a good look. A little salty, if you will, Mr. Willis.
No, he was just a straight out prick. No, that wasn't salty.
Do you think he gets fined for that?
I thought they should have sent the damn bill at the halftime. You know, while they were in the halftime, they should have sent the bill. He was dissing the refs right there. You know, on national TV, they should have sent the fine in there at halftime. But anyhow, here and there on that. Wow, what a game! What a game, man!
These dogs
and I don't know how you can complain about anything that happened from our end of the game. Yeah, we had a really bad interception that Gunner threw, but by golly, I'm not going to complain about that. Because
where are you at, Mr. I respect your opinion a lot on a lot of things. Where are you at? If Carson can play, let's say he's at 75%. This is going to be the talk, right? We've got 3 weeks of this, so just prepare yourself, and I guess we'll go ahead and get out in front of it. If Carson, let's say, is 75%, but you have Gunner sitting there, where are you at with this whole thing?
I'm real torn. Carson didn't get a touchdown, man.
Yeah.
Gunner got a couple. Although, I'm torn on that. And like I said, the whole Carson's up and down and that kind of thing. I'm not saying that it's a good thing that Carson was out in the second half, but I'm not saying that it was a good thing that Carson was out in the second half. Is that answering your question? What can I say?
I think we can read through the lines on that fairly well. Yeah, I think we got
that. That first drive in the second half won the game. Because we were stagnant, and they came out in that first drive and drove down the field. Anyhow, that's what I'm saying.
That first drive, I text Jake, and I text a good amount of folks, but I text Jake. I said, look, that first drive with Gunner, I was like, this team, I don't know. This team felt different, man, on that first drive. It felt different.
You want from a little bit, not quite real old school, but a little bit old school. When Jason Eason went out in the whatever it was, we were playing Appalachian State or whatever, and Fromm came in, right there, I said, that's the guy. Jason Eason ain't our quarterback. It's Fromm. Because, like I said, it was an FBS team, but I'm just saying. You see differences on how everybody around them react.
Quick before I let you go, Mr.
Okay, I'm done. Okay.
No. Real quick. Did you say the same thing with Gunner this time that you said with Fromm?
I was close to it, yeah.
I think the main difference is the time of year that happens. If this situation plays out in September, perhaps you give it a little bit more credence, but it's so far down the line this year. It's just, if it's all things are equal, it's almost impossible to imagine Beck not being.
It's of course now we don't know how bad they're hurt. He's hurt. As far as
that is very true. That's very true. We could be talking about spilt milk here, and it could be a non-factor. It's Gunner's team now, regardless of what we think, right?
We don't know how bad he's hurt. I don't know. I mean, it's a hard play. It's a hard call. That can Gunner take them all the way through? I don't know. Thorson may be a worse injury than Carson's is, because Thorson flipped fields, and we don't know what this number 95 can do.
Yeah, they wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him get a chance at it, Mr. Willie. They wouldn't.
He never got a chance to kick the ball. I mean, the size of the cojones to call that play, man, right there at that point in time.
And here's the thing. Remember, Mr. Willie, I'm pretty sure you might have been in the stadium for this one. Remember the Justin Fields fake punt in that same game?
Oh, did you see the yeah, that was the ESPN interview with Carson with Kirby he brought that up.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, that one didn't go well. He did. He was like, that one didn't go well, but this one did, because it was in the same building, and that kind of thing.
Well, Mr. Willie, I appreciate you more than you know, and I got 5 or 6 folks waiting, so
I hear you, buddy.
Kick you on out
Go
of here.
Dogs! How about them Dogs?
How about them? How about them? Come on now, we'll see you. Oh man, I text that Dane. What Mr. Willie just said. I text that to a group of folks. I said the Thorson injury might hurt this team more than the Carson Beck injury.
And when you see the compression sleeve go around the knee, that looks worse than Carson's.
Just saying. Let me get our resident. Actually, no, I'm going to go Jeremy Neighbors because he works nights, guys. I'm going to go Jeremy Neighbors. He works nights. He's not going to be on long, but we haven't seen him in a while. There he is.
What's going on, guys? Man, well, I'm actually off tonight, I work days and nights.
Well, damn, I let you jump the line because I didn't think you'd be here long.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I won't be long. I ain't got much to say. Living in Texas, man, this could not be any sweeter because I did not want to have to listen to these guys at work. Texas crowing in their first year in the conference. And you know that saying, don't mess with Texas. Well, we just messed with Texas twice and beat them.
2 times.
I have a third time coming.
Possibly a third time. Maybe, yeah. We'll see what happens there. Yeah. And other than that, I'm thoroughly enjoying watching Coach Lanning and Oregon expose Penn State for the frauds they are right now. It seems like the committee's the only one that could see everyone but the committee is the only ones that can see that they're frauds. But anyways, guys, yeah, just glad to get a huge win. I'm going to hop right back off, though, so I can listen to you guys.
Jeremy, you're the man, brother.
All right, see you guys.
See you. Dane, have you watched the Dan Lanning trailers on Twitter? Where
all the movies and things, the baseball bat.
The Gladiator one, then the Inglourious Bastards one where the guy comes out with the bat. Like, dude, I'd want to play for that guy.
You know what it told me, though? That guy is a college coach because that does not work in the NFL.
It does not. It does not. Yeah, you cannot get guys pumped up and throw a bat to your middle linebacker and be like, hey, bring this out. And Ray Lewis is going to look at you and be like, I'm not. Well, maybe.
Well, he probably would.
I was going to say, that's probably the wrong comp there.
Like Joe Thomas, though, would have been like, what? No.
Yeah, I'm not bringing this bat out on my shoulder. Are you serious right now? Like, let's get old JC in here, the law man. Oh, my bad, Jordan. There's 2 of you guys that are JC. I'll get you next, JC. This is the first JC. He's been around a long time too. That's on me.
What's up, guys?
What you think?
I'm not afraid to say it. Everyone's afraid to say it, but I think Gunnar Stockton should be the quarterback moving forward. I know they will play Beck, but he fits Georgia's strengths better than Carson does. Yeah, Carson can throw downfield way better and consistently, but we don't have receivers for him to throw to. So if we don't have receivers for him to throw to, and we have constant 3-and-outs where we take a minute off the clock and the defense is immediately back on the field, let's use the quarterback that opened up the run game, not just with the quarterback, with the running backs. They haven't been able to run all year with Carson either. So you get time control, and with Carson, it was terrible. It was like 3-and-out, 2 incomplete passes because Arian dropped good passes. But that being said, let's go with the strength.
Dane?
I was pulling a Twitter clip. I'm not gonna lie. Tell me that one more time.
Oh, he just said Gunner's the guy.
I understand. Again, it's what I told Eddie. There are things that Georgia's offense can do with Gunner that it hasn't been able to do all year long. The run game, not just at quarterback, but I think the running game as a whole becomes a little bit more unlocked when Gunner Stockton is your quarterback. But you are more limited in passing with Gunner Stockton as your quarterback. So I don't think that there is a 100% right answer other than you've gone with Carson the whole time and it's this late in the year. So if all things are equal health-wise, you're going with Carson. But I understand the other perspective. I just see Georgia having offensive limitations with both of them.
Here's a great question for both of you, really for James. Beyond Creative says, but what happens when D coordinators can scheme against Gunner Stockton? You have 3. Well, so this is the joy of the bye for Georgia is the team that you play is only going to really have a week to scheme against you because they've got to fight to get to you, right, James?
Yeah. No, that's the key with the bye is you get, extra week to scheme. And I mean, Arian caught some passes when Gunner was in, and I think with the scheme is you get a lot of better matchups for the receivers. Our receivers aren't great at getting open, and with Carson, it's when he's passing and when they're running because it's with a running back. It's tough for our receivers to get open with him. So I would be fine with a scheme and Bobo being able to scheme for 3 weeks with this guy knowing that he's going to be the starter.
We have Trevor, our local Donkey Kong man, says Gunner did have a fire 1 yard per carry.
Well, in college, don't they count sacks and stuff like that?
That's
so
sack
he was
adjusted.
sacked. He was sacked 2 times for 18 yards. He lost 18 yards. So he would technically be 8 for 26 without the sacks. So, but I see where he's getting at with that. He's not this. He didn't show it tonight, but there is one run in particular that showed that he's willing to fight for this team when his helmet popped off. James.
Yeah, I mean, you would never see that with Carson. It was that play, he's either throwing it or he's getting sacked. So I think he won the game, and I get he threw a bad pick, but this is also a kid thrown into a game with just a half to prepare when he hasn't really taken a meaningful snap all season.
So you're 100% on board. What I'm hearing, you're 100% on board with Gunner, even if Beck is 100% healthy.
Yeah, but I know that wouldn't happen. Kirby, he trusts his guy. I think it's the same thing with Sark. Kirby and Sark hold their starting quarterbacks on such a pedestal that Sark doesn't want to go to Arch when I think that would have, obviously given our defense some more trouble.
Let me ask you this, James, before I go to the next guy, because you are a bracketologist. You are a studier of the bracket, if you will. Who does Georgia end up with? There likely will be the 2 seed, right?
Yeah.
Who does Georgia end up with? And that would be the 7. What would that be? The 7-10 game? Or am I? Yes, right? 7-10 game? Yeah.
7-10.
Who likely are going to be that 7-10 teams?
I think it's probably going to be Penn State or Ohio State. I don't think they'll punish Texas for losing to Georgia in overtime much. So they'll get that 6th spot, I think, behind Notre Dame at 5. And then I think it's Ohio State or Penn State, depending on how this game goes.
You think Texas would be over Penn State?
I think so.
Yeah, I just don't see them dropping as far as maybe you do, Dane. I see them. overtime game. I don't think, and I was thinking about this during the game. I was like, even if Georgia loses, I don't know if Georgia moves from where they're at right now in an overtime game. This wasn't a blowout. This was literally last man scored one, right? So like, I don't know how you can punish either one of these teams. Had Georgia lost, or as Texas lost.
I mean, you could use the data point, as they like to say, that Texas lost to Georgia with a backup quarterback for a half. Like, that makes Texas look worse. That's a game Texas should have won.
You can. Chris Brown in the chat says,
when I look at Texas's schedule, I don't see. I guess A&M is probably the most impressive thing on there. Like, it was a very easy schedule up to this.
It's not a great look for them. But the only team that they lost to, and this is how I think the committee will look at it, the only team they lost to was one team. They lost to them twice, but they only lost to one team on their schedule.
Yeah.
But who knows with this committee, JC? It'll be interesting to see. When does that show? That show's tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow morning is when they
tomorrow morning.
I think it's in the morning. They drop SMU behind Alabama, and Alabama stays as the 11 seed.
All right, James. Well, there you go. Just finish us off with that. Thank you, my brother.
All right, later, guys.
See ya. Alabama get in, Dane?
If SMU loses the way that it looks like it's going to happen, then yeah.
I don't know.
And as crazy as it sounds, you don't want to see Milroe in the playoffs.
Look, I don't know if the ACC commissioner will have any of that. He's already been pretty firm about Miami not being in. If he loses his second team and only gets one team in, I don't see that happening. I think SMU stays. I think Clemson wins. SMU stays. Bama's not in. That's what I think. Jordan Couillard is going to join us. What are you?
Oh, what's up, fellas? Sorry about that, fellas.
What are you drinking, brother?
Just drinking freedom.
That's crazy.
Hey, how about them dogs?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a shout out. Hey, I'm gonna start it off. Shout out to Dalen Everett.
Legit. Texas killer.
I love it. I love it, man.
The dude plays against Texas.
And I'm gonna even say, like, Daniel Harris, he didn't get whipped all night. That couple of those passes were like busted plays. Let me throw it up. Somebody's down there, and he had him covered. You saw Kirby jumping for him, and it was like he played it perfectly.
Wasn't that Daniel Harris? That was Harris.
Yeah,
wasn't
that's what I said, Daniel. Yeah. And
what do you think, JC?
I don't think Gunner's the guy. I think it's Beck if he's healthy. You got 3 weeks? I kind of was torn between 2 and 3 weeks, whatever y'all were saying.
3 weeks. It's
yeah. 3. I think Beck's your guy, but I think what Gunner showed you tonight is that you can implement some plays and like packages for him. I think that's fair to keep. I think that's fair to keep them on their toes.
Beyond Creative says we got right now premature quarterbackulations.
Quarterback. Well, that's what she said. No, that's fair.
I think we step back from this and we say, okay, Gunnar Stockton did his job. Now there is the point that Dane made, and I think this is a very fair point. The team rallied around him for whatever it's worth.
100%.
And is that a product of just trying to win this game, or are they like? And I don't know if we'll ever know, right? If it's like, hey, we finally got Gunner in. I don't know if that's the case.
I think Kirby takes so much pride in winning the conference championship game. Like this is partial to his national championship. Like I feel like this is his not national championship game, but he takes a lot of pride. Same as playing Georgia Tech. Like he hates Georgia Tech. Like nobody else was looking forward to that game, but.
Here's what I'll say about that though. Zach Klein does a great job over at WSB, Dane. He shot a video prior to where the stadium was like half empty, and it did fill up. So, but the tickets this year, Dane, were like you could get in the door for $50. Last year, you couldn't get in the door for less than $500. This game has changed in the sense of, it worked in Georgia's favor. But had Georgia lost this game and then had to go and you lost Carson Beck, then you lost Peanut, and you lost your punter, and then you have to turn around in 2 weeks and play another game, it makes it really tough. So like this Texas team, they didn't lose any players, right? At least I don't think. But now they have to turn around, and yes, they get to host a game, but they've got to play another game now. They've got to play one more game if they want to win this national title.
There's a reckoning coming for these conference championships, I think. And it probably is intertwined with a playoff expansion, so you can just do it in one fell swoop. But like SMU has a legitimate point that had they not had to have played this game tonight, if their entire team got COVID and they had to cancel, they would have been in the college football playoff. But based on the way the score is going, they're going to lose to Clemson, and they will get left out, and Alabama prioritized over them.
JC, we have a very this is more of a legit question than any question that we've asked you. Sarah Beth Tiller on YouTube asked, how tall is your tree, your Christmas tree?
Well, I'm 6'10", so
you're not 6'10".
I think it's we'll go with, let's see, I'm probably 8 feet, 8.5.
Okay. All right. There you go, Sarah Beth. You got your answer. It's
it ain't much, but it ain't much,
but
it's honest work.
It's a good looking
tree. It ain't much, but it's honest work, Sarah Beth.
Yeah. Right.
But no, I got to give a shout out to the defense. Like the bend don't break. Like when they showed like 28 plays to 7 plays on offense, like the first half, like not the whole first half, but like they could have gotten tired. I think they showed a lot of grit tonight. I think that's probably the best word for it. I don't know if y'all have any other words. I'll take it. But
that is the word that I have used a couple times, Jordan, is grit. So
all right. Well, you got that swagger.
I do. And you tried to correct that tweet 3 or 4 times. You didn't get it right at all. So
hey, at least you know it's me now. All right.
Yeah, I know it's you, baby. I know it's you.
I played my cards and you took the bait. There we go.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a little interesting that I thought Frazier would show his face a little earlier in the game.
Yeah,
it was almost like they were trying to like prove a point that ETN was back. I don't know. It was almost like
they did wait a little long there, Dane, to get him in. But dude, I'm telling both of you, he looks different with the ball in his hands, man. He looks different.
He's almost like organized chaos. I don't know, like
but
he looks like a maniac, but he knows what he's doing. But
there's also a big problem. There's also a big problem with that, Jordan, is he's got a little case of the butterfingers.
Yeah, I said that's what I was about to say. Hold on to the rock. Like I'm all for the organized chaos, but as long as you
there's some Tasmanian devil to him, and you're
he does. That is a great comp, actually, Dan. Is the Tasmanian devil. That is exactly what it feels like when he's back there. Because is there a guy that I can't think of a guy in recent Georgia history that just has that? How much drink do you have in that, Jordan? I feel like that's got to be gone by now.
No, I'm nursing it, so because I don't have to go get another because my internet connection gets bad going out to the outdoor refrigerator. Respectfully,
I did an edit earlier in the year, Paul, like the first time we saw Nate Frazier, and I used like the cartoon sound effect of like running. So like think of Fred Flintstone running. That because he leans forward and his feet are like churning so quickly, almost like faster than he's actually going. So he looks like Todd Gurley when he used to run. He's a person that looked like he worked really hard to run that fast. Yeah. Whereas Keith Marshall, everything seems smooth and easy and
loud.
You're right. You're right.
And Nate Frazier is like super fast, but you can tell he works at it.
He looks, and I know this isn't the case, right? He looks almost twice as fast as ETN. Like when he gets the ball, and that's not the case. It's just his running style where he gets the ball, and you're like, dude, this dude's moving right now. And it's not the case. We would know, right? He would have some crazy GPS numbers that would come out. That's not the case, but it just looks that way.
Yeah, I agree. It's whatever he's doing is working, so I wouldn't change anything other than holding on to the ball a little bit better. But I love Arian Smith. I love him to death. But why did he jump for that ball that he didn't need to jump for, Dane?
I mean, Kirk Herbstreit was all over that multiple times.
Dude, it was like, but then it's hard to bash him because it's like I kept I don't tweet much, but I text buddies. I'm like, catch the ball. And then he does, like, he falls on the fumble, and he's always, like, mixing it up in the pile. And I'm like, that's why they keep putting him back out there, because, like, he's a Mr. Hustle guy, and I known for it, love it. But I'm like, just catch the ball.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
JC, man, I appreciate
I know you got to let me go. Yeah, I know. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But I don't have as much swagger tonight. I got to bring a little more energy next time. I know.
And maybe next time. Yeah. No, I love the energy. We'll talk to you soon, Courtyard.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
See you. Just an incredible game, Dan. Let's run through some stats real quick. Before we do that, though, these stats are provided to you, and really, you should probably do this read because you're much closer than
because that's my people, man.
Yeah.
ASW Distillery. It is Georgia based. 5 of the 6 founders are UGA grads, and anytime that you buy the Hunker vodka or the Hunker bourbon, so that's like a sector of spirits that they have, that benefits Georgia's Classic City Collective, helps with NIL efforts. And look, frankly, because this is Texas tonight, if you're using Tito's vodka, Tito's has given like $20 million to the University of Texas. And so if you have Tito's at your tailgate or just in your cabinet at home, you're telling me that you wanted Texas to beat Georgia and to have better football players than Georgia. And so one way that you can easily change that is get the Hunker vodka from ASW. So it's really good stuff. You saw Eddie have the Fiddler earlier, which is what you're showing now. It wins awards all over the country. And, a lot of people say, well, good bourbon has to come from Kentucky. Try this. Try this from ASW. It'll change your mind on that. And they have some tasting rooms around Atlanta. So when the Brave season comes back around, Paul, maybe tasting room at the Battery. Seems like a good idea.
Hey, it's not the worst idea you've ever had. Corey from Atlanta says, that's not what he said. JT Thompson says, Tito's is out. Where can I buy Hunker? You can get Hunker just about at every one of your liquor stores now around the metro area for sure. And especially, Dane, this is going to hit home. And I think this might change a little folks to go try that Hunker. Tito's, Texas, Justice Terry. All right, we're going to move on. Anyways.
Hey, I found my clip. Can I show it real fast? I don't know if the
audience
man,
go ahead.
Play here. Let's see.
What you got?
This is, is this going to be a copyright issue? We're going to do it, whatever.
It's definitely, this is definitely okay. We've just got demonetized. That's great. No problem. All right. That's excellent. That's really good.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I did. That's actually really good. Yeah. That's actually really good. Then I guess it's worth it for the show to be demonetized.
I'll pay the few bucks or whatever. I'll pay whatever money we lost.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, guys, if you're watching, there is a gift button. You can help make up the money that we have lost for this ad revenue from Dane Young deciding to play the ESPN clip there. So hit that little gift button if you feel like it. This is the last Postgame Overreaction show before Christmas. Now that the Dogs have won, they are going to be in a bye scenario and probably likely heading to the Sugar Bowl. Look at Jeremy. Gave us the 99 cents. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. We got back the money that Dane's lost us. We appreciate you, Jeremy, for sure. That's a hell of a golf swing you got there too, brother. Just letting you know. We got Chris says it has to be over 10 seconds. Hey, we might be in luck, baby. We might be in luck. I don't know if that's true or not, but we might be all right. You're going to have to answer
we can clip it out. We can clip it out.
No, we'll be all right.
It was worth it. Let's see. JT.
Look,
JT
got us. JT got us. He got $10 for the demonetized reimbursement for the Flintstones. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
We got
now, see, I'm not worried about Hanna-Barbera. I think that that is free.
Yeah, no, I think we're all right there.
It's all about ESPN.
Yeah, we got $4.99 from JC. We got one gifted subscription from Beyond Creative and $1.99 from our boy JK, Jermaine King. We're good. We're good.
Business decisions, bro. It works out.
Yeah.
Our people.
Right. Speaking of a guy that knows some football, Trinity Clark knows a little bit of football. He's going to come on with us right here. Let me change this brand up because I wouldn't be doing my job, guys, if I didn't go to our next sponsor here, the Rogue Shop. And while Trinity is talking a little bit of sports with us, we'll go ahead and get that pulled up. TC, what's happening?
What's up, bosses? How y'all doing tonight?
Man, doing all right, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. What's up, Dane? How you doing, bro?
Man, life's good. How are you?
Yeah, man. You know, this game. So I've been on Georgia Bulldog different podcasts all week, and I've actually been on Texas Longhorn, or it's like Third and Long. And I was listening to them after the post game. I've been hopping in and out, and I just wanted to hear their perspective on the game. And it's former players from Texas, and they're pretty much shocked. Like, it blows their mind that Georgia keeps on out physicaling them. Is mind blowing to them. And they were saying that Georgia got lucky when Gunner came into the game. They were saying that Georgia was gonna lose if Beck continued to play. And it was like their podcast is Third and Long, and they got like former Texas players on there, like famous Texas people, right? And they were saying coming into the game, they kept on, of course, they're going to be homers, but they were saying that this game was going to come down to who's going to out physical who, and it's going to be a dogfight. And they were just saying that the Texas players and coaches from the first game, they were completely thrown off. They're saying that Georgia pretty much has done whatever game film that they've been watching, Georgia has been doing the opposite. And this is what they're saying. And I'm like, that's very interesting, because I feel like this game plan, Georgia didn't do anything cute. I feel like this game plan tonight was very simple. I don't think Georgia did anything new.
When I was watching, it appeared to me that Texas considered anything that Georgia had trouble with in the past 3 weeks, and I'm even including like UMass in that, but like especially Georgia Tech. How you don't? It was obvious that Sark was committed to stick with the run, even when it just wasn't working. But the way that you solve that is to get Arch Manning in there and just do the things that Georgia doesn't have trouble stopping a running back. Even a much better running back at Tennessee, Georgia corralled him pretty well.
Yep.
It is mobile quarterbacks that hurt Georgia.
Yep. And I'm thinking the same thing. Then I'm like, I don't know what game film y'all watch, because Georgia's weaknesses have been clear for a couple of years now. We only struggle in one or two areas, and like you said, it's with a mobile quarterback. That's the only team that's beat us.
Georgia would have struggled with Vandy this year. Georgia would have had a hard time with Vandy this year.
I think so. I feel like, yeah, I felt like Vanderbilt was like the old Kentucky teams. Like Vanderbilt this year was like the old Kentucky teams this year. And you're right. Like, we would have struggled. But
would have won, Paul. Don't hear me wrong, Paul. Georgia would have beat Vandy this year. But I'm saying it would have been a struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beyond Creative said it's hard to beat a team twice was like the campaign slogan all week. It was. Heard that everywhere, Trinity.
Yeah, I heard that too. But also, I felt like, this is my theory. Y'all are tied in. I feel like Kirby, because he's such a student with football and his coaching staff, I feel like Kirby has specific game plans for specific teams. And I felt like Kirby knew that Georgia was going to get in regardless. I feel like Kirby and Sark knew each team was going to win. So I felt like this game was going to come down to whoever had the most heart. It wasn't going to be who's pretty, because I think they're saving their best for, later in the playoffs. I could be wrong, but I feel like Kirby, they got some stuff that is going to shock people. Plays wise. I was getting really frustrated with Bobo. I'm a big Bobo fan, Mark Rick fan, but I'm tired of them keep on doing those wide receiver screens. And it's like so predictable. I'm like, if you're gonna line up and do the motion, well, maybe hand the ball off to the running back. It was a screen late in the fourth quarter where he threw it to Dom, and I'm like, yo, the hole opened up for Trevor if Gunner just handed him the ball and he could have just ran clearly like 20 yards, would have been touched. So I was just getting frustrated while they kept on calling screens. But outside of that, I don't really have too many negatives. I think it was just whoever had the biggest heart was going to win. Because I think they're saving their best for the playoffs.
With the screens, I think especially once Gunner got in there was let's protect him from throwing the ball downfield too much because there's going to be more danger there.
Yeah.
But even in general, since Carson Beck midway through the season was throwing a bunch of interceptions, you've just seen Georgia you're less likely to throw an interception if it's within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, right? Like that's a fact of how far the ball can go. I understand what you're saying about the predictability of it.
Yeah.
The thing that Gunner allowed is that just the threat of him keeping the ball on some of those reads. My question is, and we won't know the answer to this, but on the play you're talking about, is that just a play action fake and we're throwing it to Lovett, or is there an actual read component where he is given the clearance to give that ball to a running back? Because there's totally a chance that Bobo said you're throwing this out there to Dom Lovett. I don't care what the coverage is.
Yeah. I agree. I was just looking at how it was, running, and I'm like, man, I wonder if they can rewatch the film and be like, if we throw these screens like the same exact play, and then the next time it'd be like a RPO, I think that would be a great little wrinkle. Absolutely. But I was just like, man, we. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just saying absolutely.
Okay, oh yeah, yeah. But I'm gonna be getting off. But man, I'm just really glad that Georgia won. And also one thing that nobody gives credit in the media and everybody else, if Georgia beats Texas 3 times and the road that Georgia had, like the schedule, there can't be nobody to ever complain, because I think this is probably Georgia would have, you can fact check me, would they have 5 top 10 wins? Or maybe 5, top 5, at least 5 top 10 wins. And it's probably maybe 4 top 5 wins. And if Clemson wins, that Clemson will be number 4. That means you beat in number 4, you beat number 1 on the road, you beat number 2, or was Texas ranked 2 or 3? 3. You that is 3 wins. Tennessee was ranked 7 or 6. And again, the only home game was Tennessee. So that's the most ridiculous schedule. Like, Georgia would earn it. I'm not going to discredit everybody else, but you cannot deny that the schedule alone, I don't think any college football team has ever had this kind of schedule, and how many times that they've had to play their competitions. That will be so they earn that.
You're exactly right, TC, man. We appreciate you.
But thank you, brothers.
You came with the heat. You came with the heat. We'll see you soon. TC comes with the heat, bro. TC, he's right though. That would be, and
well, now I'm counting. How many playoff teams would Georgia have beaten to go all the way? Is it?
I know
7 or 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in that case, like, there's potential of counting Texas 3 times.
Yeah. Israel says, so handsome. I think they're talking about Trinity. They're not talking about either one of us. So
it's all good.
What a game, man. What a game. 22-19. The stats.
These rushing stats, Paul, are pretty wild when you consider late in the second quarter, I think Georgia had like -2 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was bad. And then to get that up to 141, which I know is not some crazy number by Georgia standards, but that's pretty much all the second half.
Yeah, you're right. First quarter, Georgia was -6. Second quarter, Georgia was 4. So they went into the locker room -2 rushing yards. Went to the locker room with 56 passing yards.
So that's 143 rushing yards in the second half. And I suppose
Georgia had 54 yards of offense in the first half. 50. That's got to be a low for Georgia, I would think.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if you took the second half plus overtime performance and just double that, That's a team
Right.
that just ran for over 300 yards.
Well, if you take away 277 minus what did I say 54, you're going to be in the ballpark of 225-ish. So you're at 450 if you double the second quarter.
If you can do that twice and put the two halves together, which that
Right.
seems to be what this team is so bad at doing.
Yes, they haven't been able to do
this game, Georgia Tech, Alabama, even Florida a little bit.
Yeah, it's just a wild season for the Dogs. But here is the craziest thing. And if you stayed with us this whole time, we've been an hour 40 in. We're not going to go 3 hours, Dane. We're going to go 2. We're going to go 2 hours, and maybe a little more. We've got to get Double G on here in just a second. But
well, if they want more of you, they have the show tomorrow.
They do, yeah. Peach State Power Hour tomorrow, baby. Yeah. Somehow, Dane, this team won the SEC championship.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. If you told me that, 5 weeks ago, I'd be like, okay, all right, yeah, sure. 6 weeks ago, yeah, sure, yeah, you're a homer, dude. This team. Okay, here's a hot take for you, Dane. Here's a really hot take for you. If this team wins the national title, this is better than 21 and 22. Just from the schedule perspective, the things they've overcome. It's both the 21 and 22 teams were dominant, Dane.
You're trying to define what better is, though. So you're saying the ride is better.
Okay. Yes, the ride is better because the pure dominance of 21 and 22. Every game, like, dude, we would come on this damn Postgame Overreaction show and be like, yeah, Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint dropped a pass. It sucks, but Georgia still won 52-6.
I hear you, but I do think just the way that 21 ended, just that feeling of elation and 40 years following, like the backstory leading up to 21 doesn't exist now because of the success. Right. And so I always think that is going to be the pivotal moment of Georgia fandom for this era.
But if you look at this team, though, if you look at this team and how they've been able to overcome things, it just feels different. Like there's never been in this season a point where I've been like, all right, I think Georgia can probably win the national title. Maybe at the beginning of the year, Dane, when everybody was hyping them up before games started to get played, and maybe even after week 1, after they destroyed Clemson, I was like, all right, this team could, probably win the national title. After that, it was like, there are some serious problems with this team. Offensively, defensively, special teams was the only thing you could really hang your hat on was Woodring and Thorson. But offensively and defensively, you're like, this team's going to get beat, 2 or 3 times. And somehow, some way they freaking won.
Well, they've been beaten twice. And if they get beaten a third time, then they won't win a title. But if it stays at twice, they're the national champions. We've reached that point.
I'm saying. It's a crazy and okay. All right. Yeah. Jeremy Williams says resilience doesn't equal to being better. Yes, you're right. You're right. Those teams were definitely better skill-wise. This team's more resilient. Where did Gary go? I was literally just about to bring Gary on. He just dropped off. Bring in the G, Sarah Beth says. I was going to. He just left. While we do that, while we wait for him, Dane, you want to hand out some before we hand out some helmet stickers, let's do this real quick. The Rogue Shop, baby. RogueShop.com. RogueShop.com. These guys are huge. Oh, man, I feel bad for them. They're huge Texas fans, Dane. Huge Texas fans, but they're also a great
I hear the pain in your voice, Paul.
Yeah, they're huge. They're huge sponsors of the show here, of the Postgame Overreaction show. Use promo code Bulldogs10, gets you 10% off your order. They have, Dane, if you're, I know you're not into this type of stuff. I used to be at one point in my life, not anymore, but they do have everything you could think of in terms of if you want to feel a little buzz at night, if you want to feel a little pain cream that's not going to get you buzzed but take care of your pain. They've got some, I don't know if this gets us demonetized or not. They've got their own strands of things. They have gummies. They have everything you can possibly think of to take care of you. So not only do we take care of you with your personal injury lawyer, Dane, we take care of you with your liquor, and we take care of you with your CBD Delta 9. We've got everything that you could possibly imagine.
I have a theory about why this has not been my thing up to this point in my life, Paul. I'm a really good sleeper. Like, I can sleep through anything. I'm a very like deep sleeper. I have been told by a lot of friends that struggle with sleeping for whatever reason that stuff like what the Rogue Shop has helps them with sleep. And so I'm such a big proponent of sleep being so critical to health that if you have trouble sleeping, this may be a solution.
They have stuff like this right here, the CBD full spectrum gummies, 1,500 milligrams, sleep, very low THC. It can help you out. So go check them out. Rogueshop.com. Use 10%. Get a little 10% off your order. Bulldogs 10. That lets them know that you came back, that you came from us. So,
are you a good sleeper, Paul? We both have young kids, so it's a weird question.
I am, but I down a couple melatonin at night just to make sure that the sleep goes all the way through.
Yeah.
So, you know,
and then you get woken up by a kid.
Right, but it's all right. Whatever. Michael Fowler says, I also have a theory about why Dane hasn't been to the Rogue Shop. He's a nerd. No, he's not. Dane's all right, Michael.
Depends on the topic. I'm a nerd about a lot of things. There's some things I'm not.
Let's hand out some helmet stickers while I wait for Gary. Gary's got like a minute to get back in here before we take it over. Magnesium at night, boys, Chris Brown says. There's Gary. Let's get him in here. No beard, Gary?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Where's your beard? Where's your beard?
Can y'all hear me?
Gary, I loud and clear, brother. Where is your beard?
Hello? Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello?
Gary, I can hear you.
We can't say it louder, Gary. We hear you.
Gary, can you hear us?
Hey, guys, can y'all hear me?
We can hear you.
Gary, we're looking in your ear right now. We can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you. Yes. Gary.
Wow.
We were inside. Just so you know, Dane, we were inside.
I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like Magic School Bus style.
We were in there, brother. We were in there.
Dude, I wonder if the beard trimming was for the SEC championship.
It could have been. Mitchell Shiver says, is this a skit? It's not. It's not, Mitchell. Crin Dog says, we saw a glimpse into Gary's soul. We did. All right. Helmet stickers. Do I?
Am I starting?
Yes.
I want to take Lawson Lucky.
Oh,
that catch, freaking insane.
He had one catch though. You're giving out a helmet sticker for that?
And he pushed the guy out of bounds on the interception that's potentially saved the SEC championship. You want another? Chaz Chambliss. Boom. Throwing his body into like everything to set up everything else.
You know what? So I take that back on the Lawson Lucky thing. He did save that touchdown. So that's actually a very good helmet sticker. That is that. I will actually take that. I'll take that helmet sticker. I feel like we would be remiss if we did not give Gunnar Stockton a helmet sticker, right? I mean, I think we have to. You come in at halftime of the SEC championship game, and you lead your team to victory. Yes, 12-16, you had the terrible interception. We get that, but I don't know, just something felt a little different that first drive he was out there. I'm gonna give one to him. I normally don't do two on offense, but I've got to give one to ETN. Have to.
That's your guy.
Yeah, I have to.
He's the guy that you're highest on since Will Levis.
Yeah, I have to. Well, look, just so happens, Dane, Trevor Etienne was back in the ballgame this time, and guess who led the team in receptions this game? Trevor Etienne. Well, he was tied with Arian Smith, but who's counting, right? Trevor Etienne, 5 out of 6, whereas Arian Smith had 5 out of 8. So really, Etienne, I would say, probably did a little better there.
Do you know how many catches they had by wide receivers after the first half?
One. Yeah, was one. Defensive side of the ball, dude, I sang his praises so much 2 weeks ago, last week. I got to give it to him again. Warren Brinson, dude. Warren Brinson with the sack, 2.5 tackles for loss.
Bro, there's an obvious one we haven't mentioned though on defense.
An obvious one we haven't mentioned on defense.
We got to go Dalen, man. 2 picks.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Texas killer.
Yeah. That's so. It's much like the ETN helmet sticker. It's almost like they, even if we didn't mention them, that they get one. Everett for sure. Yeah, he locked it down. Your mic has gone out, Dane. What has happened? Are you Garying me? Talking to myself now. What has happened? Oh no. Dane, please come back. I'm by myself. Unmute your mic. I can't unmute it for you. You have to. No, we're not good. You know what I'm going to have to do? I've got to go to the bullpen.
Are we good?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Boom. Not a full helmet sticker, but a pat on the back of the helmet to KJ Bolton. Gets hurt, comes back, makes that open field tackle at the end.
That was I text that to a group of guys. That was a huge tackle. He was the only guy out there to stop that play, and he did it. Shout out to KJ, though, just in general. Like you said, I didn't see him come back in, Dane. Like, I didn't know when he came back in. I don't know if that was like his first play back in or had he been back in. I'm sure he had, right? But, yeah, to come back in and make that play was huge for Georgia. All right, we're going to give it one last try, Dane. We're going to give it one last try. Gary, you with us?
Hey, guys, can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes, my phone was on silent mode. Sorry about that.
God, Gary,
can I ask you a question before we start tonight?
Yeah, we don't have. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Did I do something to make y'all mad a couple of weeks ago? Last time I was on?
No, Gary. Why?
I'm just wondering because for the last half of the show, nobody from the from y'all podcast responded to me. That's why I was asking.
It's all love, Double G.
We're a bit man down right now with Roddy driving back from Atlanta. So.
Oh, he was in Atlanta, so he ain't gonna be on tonight.
He's not.
Correct.
No.
Okay, so Paul, you said somebody already brought the heat tonight. You ain't seen the heat yet. You want me to bring it? Where you want me to start?
Can I ask why the shave?
I just got tired of having my beard, so I shaved it off.
Okay.
It doesn't happen much.
Damn. Gary, I will say I grow it back. Gary, I will tell you, Gary, we're close to wrapping up, so you've got about 5 minutes. So bring the heat. You got 5 minutes.
What has our team problem been this year? Period. And it's only one thing that leads to several things. And this is, if you know football, you know the answer to this.
What has been the team's problem? But it's one thing that has led to several things.
Correct. It's one thing that's led to all of our problems this year. And if you know ball, you got the answer to that.
I'm going to go with Chris Brown here. He says slow starts.
No. Even if you even go back to our first national championship team this year, I mean, not this year, but this time starting in with Kirby, our first one with Kirby, our team has always been a better second half team than first half team.
Okay,
always.
So the second
isn't that slow starts?
The second, so it's not slow starts. What about drops from Crin Dog 85?
No, our team has not had any character this year. Period. We have not had no character. We have not, which leads to no leadership.
Okay.
Football is a game of matchups and momentum.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now then, since our team, and all of this is because people got to realize that UGA football has always been a run to set up the pass offensive system. Always. Even last year with Beck. This year, since Beck was a returning quarterback Kirby decided to try a pass to set up the run offense, which has not worked. Okay. And Beck started out slow this year because of a different play system that was installed not by Matt Bobo, but by Kirby Smart. Because the offensive plays are called by Matt Bobo, but they are called from Kirby Smart playbook, period. You follow me so far?
You follow him, Dane?
I'm tracking.
Okay. Now then. They tried this as an experiment, but our character, Georgia, as a football team, has always been the reverse. Right or wrong?
One more time for me. I was reading the chat.
So I'll try to summarize this. I agree that Georgia's offensive identity this year is different than most any year in the past because it is pass first to set up everything else.
Correct. And every other year has been the complete opposite. Run to set up the pass. Period. I cannot remember the last time that it was the other way. Maybe with one of the greatest quarterbacks who ever came through Georgia. And who was that?
I was trying to think of a joke. I was going to drop a name. Joe Cox.
And it ain't who you think it is. Aaron Murray was probably the last time. Which he broke all of the SEC records, including Peyton Manning's records. Right or wrong?
He did do that. He's the SEC's all-time passing leader.
Correct.
I mean, Stetson also got you 2 national titles. No Stetson?
Stetson was not a pass to set up the run. He was a run to set up the pass.
What? Okay. Kind of get this full circle, right? Let's get it back on track. Where are we going with this?
Well, who do you want to be the starting quarterback comes New Year's Day? That's what I'm getting at.
Jaden Rashada.
He ain't even in the competition.
He wouldn't even take the snap at the end.
It's out of Beck and Stockton.
Duh, Dane.
I mean,
come on now. And you know, I don't jump off the bandwagon that often. But I seen leadership today, which I ain't seen all year.
So
period.
You're on the Gunner train.
Well, I am. And it's because the simple fact is that Gunner fits Georgia play style system better than Beck does, period. And with 3 weeks to plan and 3 weeks to change the offense back to run to set up the pass, Stockton is our best chance, period, to win anything.
I don't think, Gary, I don't think you're crazy wrong on that.
Because the simple fact is that Beck has had at least three interceptions in at least 3 games this year so far. Right or wrong?
Beck threw a lot of interceptions and they were in clusters. Yes,
correct. And that was a reason that we lost a couple of we lost at least 1 game this year. And I ain't saying that Beck isn't a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback. But it was because of the change in the play style, which he was not showing as well off as he did last year. And he's kind of, I don't know him personally, but it kind of seems like at the beginning of the season, he was being kind of like a prima donna at times. I'm just bringing it real.
Now, see,
you drive up.
You're a
Go
South
ahead.
Georgia guy, and Beck's a North Florida guy.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered where that difference happens because there are some spots there in between Valdosta
Okay.
and Lake City. I don't know where one begins and the other ends.
Okay, I'm from Thomasville.
Well, Gary, I think everybody knows you're from Thomasville. Yes, sir.
That's the home of Mike Bobo. He went to the city school, not to the county school. I went to the county school.
He's a city boy.
Yeah. When I was in high school, my head football coach was Ed Pilcher, one of the best football coaches who's ever been in the state of Georgia. Period. We won 5 state champion in 6 years. What other school in the state of Georgia has done that? Not many. Not in 6 years. Not 5 in 6 years.
Hell of a run.
And we won one last year. I think we got knocked out this year, but that's besides the point. But anyway, where was we at? I'm sorry.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off, Gary, but we were going to kind of go. We were kind of trying to wrap this.
Tell me what you want me to ask me a question so I can sum everything up in one statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Dane doesn't get to ask you a ton of questions.
So yeah, let Dane ask me. Hey, Dane, where's my fiddler whiskey at? You ain't sent it to me yet. You promised me one.
He's asking you a question now, Dane.
You'll have to pull the time code on that video because I don't remember promising you this.
A few weeks ago, I was all upset. And I told y'all that this team was going to drive me back to drinking, and you said, "Give me your address, and you're going to send me some bourbon or some whiskey, either fiddlers or the other."
I think he did say that.
Well, I don't want to drive you back to drinking, so I want that to be a
You ain't driving me back to drinking. Our team is this year.
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, Gary. Much love to you, brother.
Much love to y'all too. And y'all know y'all ball. That's why I come on here and give my opinions on here and nowhere else. And y'all get them for free. Anybody else would have to pay for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shit.
And now, does somebody want to show me love and give me a membership?
Maybe so, Gary. Maybe they will. I can't control that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just putting it out there. Because I bring it hot and real every time that I'm on here. I miss the show every now and again.
Hey, Gary, you like Little Caesars, baby. You hot and ready.
Hey, when the tough gets going, when the heat comes, you got to bring the heat, right?
Hell yeah.
When the going get tough, the tough gets going.
Boom.
Come on now, you gonna make me preach at you?
Hey, Gary. Don't preach at me. Come on now.
I'll preach to everybody else. I know my ball.
Hey, Garrett, period, right?
Period. I know my ball. And anybody who don't think I know my ball, they know where they can get off. And they can put all the comments in the chat that they want to. And I don't care. Because the simple fact is, if they know their ball, they know what I say is true. And if they don't know their ball, they need to learn their ball first. Period. That's just the way I feel about it.
Gary, I appreciate you.
I appreciate y'all too. And y'all have a good night and be blessed.
Thanks, Gary. Period.
What else is there? Like Jeremy Williams says, damn straight, Gary, damn straight. I can't follow that up, man. I love Triple G, man. All right. Let's get up out of here. Dane, what do you say?
Thanks to ASW Distillery, to the Rogue Shop, Ben and Benton. They make this show go.
They do. JC says he's got one more. What you got, JC? One quick thing.
Did we ask if Gunner is in concussion protocol yet or not?
I don't think he is.
We've been on this show, so I don't know.
We've been here. I don't know.
I know, but the lights look like they turned off and went back on. But
he interviewed after the game on the field, so they weren't overly concerned at that moment. Doesn't mean that It's a good question though.
I mean, we got 3 weeks to recover, so it's not that big a deal. I just wanted to see if y'all actually love me or not. Want to put me back on, but
we do.
All right.
That love should never be questioned.
No.
All right. I appreciate that. Yeah.
He didn't want to say nothing. He just wanted to get back on the show. That's crazy. Guys, we appreciate you. All the subscribers. Mr. Sampson dropped I think 15 subs to the channel tonight. All the love. Let me recap them real quick. Captain Guy Bob. We got Justin Farmer, KC, Chris, Garcia. Beyond became a member tonight. Justin Farmer, Jeremy Williamson, JT Thompson, Jordan Couillard with the $4.99, Jermaine King, Hamilton Keener, my man. Captain Guy Bob again, he says, we miss you, Roddy, but thanks to Paul and Dane. Guys, really and truly, we appreciate you. This show doesn't go without you guys in the comment section. You guys calling in. This is what this show was intended for. Way back when we first started, we wanted to get the voices of the people on here as much as possible. You guys can listen to Dane or you guys can listen to me. We have our own shows, but this one really is dedicated to you guys. And we just appreciate you so much. We won't be back for a month because Georgia doesn't play. There's no overreaction to be had. But there are plenty of still good content on our YouTube channel. So Sunday night, we've got the Peach State Power Hour. We also have Film Don't Lie with Dane Young and Brent Rollins. We have UJ Sports Live with Coach Donnan. We have Rumors versus Facts. So, guys, we appreciate you again for
subscribe to that YouTube channel because we're really close to 50K, which is that'll be first of anyone in the market to do that. So we're chasing that hard.
Jermaine decided to donate $1.99. One last little thing. He says the show never ends before midnight. Tonight it does. Paul is the host tonight, Jermaine. I am your captain. We're getting out of here. We're going to go watch the rest of this football. And guys, you guys are awesome. Again, thank you so much. We will see you December 31st, New Year's, whatever it may be. If you don't watch anything else before with us, and you only watch the Postgame Overreaction show, I hope that you and your family have a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we will see you guys on the next one. Dane, remember, be blessed, never stressed. I was trying to do that before I should have got the outro. I didn't get the outro. I was trying to hit the outro right after that. Damn, I messed it up. For Dane Young, I'm Paul Meharry, UJSports.com, Postgame Overreaction show. We'll see you next time. Thanks.